Okay, guys, I think we'll get going with our live event today. So just to give everyone a sense of what we're going to be running through today on this live event, we're going to be giving you an introduction, and I'll let you know who else is on the call with me today. Also, I'd like to give you a quick overview of the broader NCBI service just during this COVID-19 crisis. Obviously, this event is focused on technology, and I'll be going through the technology service overview available from NCBI Labs. And the key points today for our online demonstration is iOS accessibility and an overview of accessibility for iPhone and iPads. We're going to do smart devices as well and give people an overview of Alexa and specifically the Echo Dots. And also we'll do questions and answers. And we'll wrap up then with supporting NCBI. It should take us approximately about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how many people ask questions. And I would really encourage you to ask as many questions as you want here. You can either send them in to us via email, as I mentioned on the introduction, at labs@ncbi.ie, or you can use the question pane to the right of your screen. Again, just to remind everyone that's on the call now, if you do require a list of shortcuts for screen readers on Teams, please do email labs@ncbi.ie and we'll respond to them straight away. One thing I would like to say as well is this online presentation today will be available, is being recorded and will be available for people to download afterwards and either rewatch, or we'll be publishing it to social media as well. So further information on that coming. Okay, so first of all, I'd just like to say a huge warm welcome to everyone that's joined us today on the call. And it's great to have so many people here today. We can see, I'm not sure if the participants can see, but there's quite a few. We're upwards of 30-ish people on the call at the moment, which is brilliant. So as I said, please do keep asking questions throughout the call. And we're hoping that this will be the first of many live events to come. Let me introduce myself today. My name is Kyron O'Mahony. I'm the NCBI's Chief Technology Officer. With us as well today is Aaron Mulanoff, and he's the NCBI Assistant Chief Services Officer. And we also have members from the NCBI Labs Technology Training Team. And on the call as well, we have Sean Doran, JP Corcoran, Jude Maher, and also Daniel Dunn. Okay, just to give you a quick sense of some of the services that are continue to be available to those with sight loss during this COVID-19 crisis. So NCBI has set up a national helpline for service users, families, and their friends. And this is open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and it's open Monday to Friday. And the number for that is 1850 33 43 53. That's 1850 33 43 53, and that can be used for all queries related to sight loss. And just to give you a sense of some of the services that remain to be available. So you can ring that number for advice and information. Also, there's emotional support available to you. Any specific cocooning tips in relation to people with sight loss, please do get in contact with us. Technology and assistive technology information is always available online. We'll give you advice on online training, employment supports, referrals to the NCBI library, and we also can send you an accessible COVID-19 pack. And don't forget as well, our online shop remains open for low vision aids, shop equipment, and advice related to the same. Just to remind everyone that number again, it's 1850 33 43 53. Or if you would like to email NCBI directly, that's info@ncbi.ie. Okay, as this is a technology event, I'd like to give people just a sense of the technology services that are available from NCBI. So NCBI offers a technology support line. We also continuing to offer technology sales for mainstream and assistive technology. That is continuing throughout this crisis. Technology training continues to be available, and we're going to kick off this, and we're hoping to do these weekly live events once a week. And one thing that we're kicking off in the coming weeks is virtual technology support clubs, where all of those people with sight loss can come on and support each other. So we'll have further information coming in them shortly. Just to remind everybody, to give you some details on the technology support line, it is you can ring the national helpline, or you can ring us directly in for technology support and advice. And this really it's an incredible service, and we staff it by technology experts in mainstream and assistive technology. It's open to all people with sight loss, their family and their friends, to support people with sight loss. So please do take advantage of that. You can contact us via email, as I mentioned earlier, labs@ncbi.ie, or you can ring the technology support line directly, 1850 92 30 60. As I mentioned as well, technology sales for mainstream and assistive technology is remaining open. If you have any queries or in relation to that, please do email us at labs@ncbi.ie, and we'll be able to follow up on them. We are still shipping out all equipment, from CCTVs to magnifiers to iPads to whatever the case may be. That service has not stopped and is continuing. All you need to do is get in contact with us through labs@ncbi.ie. In terms of technology training, again, you can contact us. You can refer yourself to NCBI by going to www.ncbi.ie. You can email labs@ncbi.ie, or you can call the dedicated Labs technology training line. So please do get in contact. As I mentioned, the NCBI Live Events, this is the first of many to come. So we're hoping that you find them really useful today. And please do give us your feedback and let us know if you found that this was a useful thing to do. Just to let you know, we will be announcing the launch of our virtual technology support groups next week, and that will enable people to log on and discuss their technology needs. We'll make members of the assistive technology team available for support and assistance all around technology. Again, just before we move on, any queries that you have in relation to technology or questions or anything like that, we're available to help. So please do get in contact with labs@ncbi.ie. Okay, so let's get on to let's move away from the PowerPoint pieces, and let's give you a sense of the first of the two topics that we are going to go through today. So what I'd like to do is introduce you to Daniel Dunn. He is one of our NCBI Labs technology trainers. Daniel has put together a presentation on iOS accessibility. And bear in mind that this is an overview of iOS accessibility. We do intend to do more in-depth specific feature reviews, such as voiceover or different pieces like that, on future live events. For now, this is going to give you a sense of what are the accessibility features on iOS for iPad and iPhone. So just bear with us while we line up the first presentation.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us here today on the NCBI Labs webinar. And we are going to look at the accessibility. Now, you may have noticed I have connected my mouse to my iPad, and that's for the purposes of today's demonstration. So I'm going to be simulating what one would do with their finger as they touch the screen with this mouse icon here, which is that yellow circle, and I have it just located there to the bottom right of this screen at the moment. So to have a look at the accessibility features that are now included in the iOS, which is Apple's iPad and iPhone operating system, we are using version 13, which is the latest one that has been released, and we're going to go straight in here into our settings icon. So if you want to find that settings icon, it's usually on the very home screen. If it's not, just slide left and go through the different apps that are there, and you'll eventually come across this settings icon, which is a gray one with the cog in there. So I'm going to tap on that and open it up, and we're brought straight to all the settings of the iPad. And down the left hand side here, you have all the different categories that you can go into and set up different features, such as your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, and so forth. But for the purposes of today's demonstration, we are looking at the accessibility options, which is located usually to the bottom left here. And if it's not there straight away, just browse down to by just popping your finger on it and pushing the menu upwards, which will scroll down the menu for you. And you can select accessibility then. After tapping on accessibility, you are brought into all the different options that are available to help people with vision impairments or physical motor impairments or hard of hearing impairments to be able to use their iPad. And for us, our focus obviously is on the vision aspect, and that is at the top of the list in the accessibility options. So we'll start off by having a look at the Voiceover. And the Voiceover is a system that is very like a screen reader, I suppose, on a laptop, and it calls out the information verbally that allows you then to interact with it. So I'll just give you a quick demonstration of Voiceover. So we'll turn that on here. There's a little switch to the right.
Voiceover on. Landscape. Charge port to the right. Settings.
Okay, so Voiceover announced that it is on and that it is in the settings, accessibility options, and that your laptop is orientated in the landscape mode with the charging port to the right hand side of the frame. On an older iPad, it would tell you that your home button is to the right of the frame, but this is a newer version iPad which does not have a physical home button. So underneath the Voiceover switch, you have a little bit of a voice telling you how to use Voiceover. So tap once to select an item, double tap to activate the selected item. Use 3 fingers on the screen to scroll from page to page or to scroll up and down a page. And to go to the home, if you don't have a physical home button, you slide 1 finger up from the bottom edge until you hear the second sound, and then you lift your finger. And so forth there. There's other advice as well on how to use the Voiceover. For those of you who are new to Voiceover, haven't used it before or think it would be a good assistive piece to have, you can go in and practice the Voiceover.
Voiceover Practice button.
So I'm just going to highlight Voiceover Practice and then double tap to open
Voiceover
that there.
Practice heading.
So
Done. But practice voiceover gestures, commands and typing in this area. Select the Done button in the top right corner and double tap to exit.
So I swiped right twice there, which brings me to this Voiceover Practice. And in here I can simulate touches, and it will feedback what those would do in the operating environment. So
touch.
So if I
speak item.
If I tap, it'll speak the item I'm on. If
1 finger swipe up. Previous rotor item.
If I swipe up, it'll give me the previous rotor item.
1 finger swipe right. Move to next item. Touch. Speak item. 1 finger swipe left. Move to previous item.
So you can see there the different motions I do. It'll read back what those motions will carry out. So that's a good place to practice Voiceover if you're new to it and you want to explore it a bit more. So
Voiceover Practice.
I've just exited the practice area. There's loads of different gestures and commands that are available for Voiceover. Don't be afraid to get in contact with your local IT trainer in the NCBI to give you some guidance on that. Perhaps some lessons can be tailored for you on those. So I'm going to switch off Voiceover now.
Voiceover on. Voiceover off.
And just to go a little bit more into what's under Voiceover with the speaking rate, you can speed that up. I've noticed more advanced users, the more they get used to Voiceover, they tend to speed up the speaking rate of it so that they can scroll through items a lot quicker, and they're not waiting for Voiceover to announce it. The speech then, obviously you can customize the speech to different voices. We can tap in here on voices and there's tons of different voices available that you can customize to whatever your preference is. You can change the pitch, and as there as well, there's a slider there to change the pitch. So I'll come back out of there. There's also a nice feature in here for Braille users who if they have a Bluetooth Braille display device, they can connect that here. It won't allow you connected directly via the Bluetooth menu, which is back up here under the Wi-Fi. And if you're connecting a Braille display, you must come in here into the Voiceover system and go down here and add it through the Braille devices there. So if anybody's searching for that, that's where you find that one. So that's a little bit on the Voiceover. There's lots more features in there. I won't go through them all on this particular webinar, but do get in touch with your local IT trainer if you want to discover more about those. So back out to our accessibility menu. And our second option we have is the zoom. So I'll come in here. And again, just like the Voiceover, you have a switch at the top, and underneath you have little quick guide on how to use the zoom. So you can double tap with 3 fingers on the screen and that will zoom it in. So I'll just try to simulate that here now. So we have it zoomed in at that. And to move around the screen, even though I've the mouse connected here today, I would normally, if I didn't have that, I would put 3 fingers on the screen and just move left, right, or up and down, and that'll move around, pan around the screen. And you can also double tap with 3 fingers and push up or push down on the screen to increase or decrease the zoom. Now, at the bottom of this options menu, you can set the maximum zoom level. So it goes all the way from about 1.2x and it can go the whole way up to 15x. So if I just grab that little slider and we'll pull it along, you can see there now it gives me up to 15 times zoom on that. So basically, wherever you will leave the slider is where you're kind of setting it at the maximum zoom level. So you can go, if you set, I've set 3.8x there as the maximum zoom. So if I'm doing those gestures, when I zoom in fully, it'll go from 1.2x up to 3.8 and stop. But if you had that level on further, obviously you'd go to 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever you set that at yourself. So you can also take advantage of the zoom filters in here. They have 4 of them included. Obviously the one we're dealing with at the minute, it is none enabled, but I'll show you the other 4 inverted. So that will change all the colors. If you notice, our Wi-Fi has gone from blue to orange, like Bluetooth has gone from blue to orange as well. You also have grayscale. So some people who don't want the color, they just want plain black and white. That's an option there as well. And the grayscale inverted is black and white in reverse. So you have a black background and white text. And then you have the low light, which is normal mode, but with greatly reduced brightness. And that's particularly useful for anybody who likes to use the zoom and they get eye fatigue from too much glare. So I'll just switch that back off again. So I'll come out of the zoom options and I'm going to switch back off zoom and we'll return to where we were earlier. So there are the features of the zoom option. There's plenty more in there that you can enable. There's a zoom controller that you can have, which is an easy access button that constantly sits on the screen and floats around, kind of like this little home button guy that I have on the screen because it is associated with the mouse. I'll just really show you that real quick. You turn that on there, and when I have zoom enabled, we get this zoom option here. So that gives us this menu. So I'll just go zoom out again. So that's the little zoom controller. And again, he can be moved around the screen. Just move him here manually. So I'll park him down there. And if you don't like him on screen, go in and turn him off. So that's the zoom. We'll come out of the zoom. The next one we're going to have a look at is the magnifier. So I have the magnifier switched on. And to use the magnifier, you can either triple click the home button or triple click the power button on the newer iPhones and iPads, and that enables you to use the magnifier. Now, because I'm using a mouse, I have added it to my control center, and I'm just showing it quickly. Over here on the left hand side, we just go at the third one above the accessibility, and we go into control center, and I customize the controls. And by default, magnifier is not enabled, so to add magnifier, you go down here and you will green plus, and you tap that, and it comes up to the included options on your control center. So let's go back to where I was in the accessibility and into magnifier again. So I'm going to access the magnifier by pulling down from the top right, and here we got the magnifier option here. So it's a quick access button, and I tap that, and we go straight into our magnifier. Now, I have set up a page at the back of the camera. I have the iPad on a stand, and as you can see, that's me manually moving the page there. And this slider here is to zoom in and out using the camera. You also have a light option. There's a little lightning bolt just down here, and that turns on the light. So if you're in a low light situation, you can switch that on or off as required. So the next thing I'm going to show you is up here in the top right, you got these three little circles that are bunched together. We can tap on that, and it gives you the options to change the colors. So what it does is it reduces it to two colors, and we have blue background and white text. And the next one we'll try yellow text on blue background. There's a grayscale, yellow and black, and red and black. Now again, down in the bottom right, we have flip color options. So you have your brightness, your contrast, and then you have to flip the colors, and we'll tap on that. And you'll notice now our black background has turned to red and our red text has turned to black. And we'll just go back through all the options again. Yellow background, black text, inverted grayscale. We have yellow background, blue text, and white background, blue text, and just standard inverted. And I can turn that back off, and we'll return to our normal mode. But that's the options that you can access on the magnifier. You can also adjust the brightness and the contrast. I'm quite happy with that there, so I'm not going to change those. But if you did want to increase the brightness or the contrast, you can by moving these sliders here with the yellow dots, move those up. So I'll just come back out of the options. Again, we'll just look at the zoom. So it's a matter of sliding this up, and it will go in on the text for you. And you can move the iPad left and right then to read your text from a page in the background. There's also an option to pause the magnifier. So I go in and I tap that, it pauses it, it locks it. And where that would be very useful is if you're out and about and you want to, let's say in a supermarket, there's a price and it's on a low shelf. And rather than getting down and trying to look at that, you can just drop your phone down and magnify it and pause it and then bring it back up to head height. And you will be able to see what that was. But that's the magnifier. You can scroll around. So I'll just get out of the magnifier mode. And we go back to our settings menu. So that's the magnifier, and you can have the auto adjust exposure. It's quite good to leave that on. It'll assess the lighting that's in the environment where you're using a magnifier and adjust accordingly. Okay, that's the magnifier. Next thing we're going to look at is the display and text size. And this is a very popular option to go in and change. And first option on the display and text size is to make all the text bold. So I'm going to switch that on here. And you can see immediately all the text has got much heavier, making it easier to read. In older iPads, by switching that on, unfortunately, it would cause you to restart your phone or your iPad. But in the newer iOS 13, they have enabled that on the fly so that you can change it without having to restart your iPad or iPhone. Next in the display and text size is the larger text size. And I have already moved the text size up to the biggest in this option. You can notice all the text size changing. Any apps that support dynamic type this will also work for. Not all apps, I will say, are taking advantage of that feature. The feature being that it talks to the iOS to find out what text size is used across all the system. Some apps just leave their text size as they were designed and can't really be changed. But there are a good few apps out there now that are looking at that dynamic type support. Secondly, up here at the top, we have larger accessibility sizes. So if we can turn that on, it increases the range of our slider here. So we can continue to increase the size of the text by simply sliding across that circle. So get that text up. That's as big as it will get. And you can also return it back to normal if you don't want it that size. So we'll turn that back off. So that's the larger text size and the larger accessibility sizes that are available here in this menu. The next one is the button shapes. It's a good thing to turn that on. It helps define shapes of the buttons that are used, making it a little bit easier to find your way around, to switch on and off buttons and things like that. Next thing we have is reduced transparency. So it's a good option to leave on. Some apps will have what we call a transparent background so that you can see things through it. So to help improve your focus on a particular pop-up screen or something like that, you can tell it to reduce the transparency and things will appear a bit more clear for you. The increased contrast. So just switch that on there and just keep switching it, and you'll probably notice that the background gets a little bit stronger and the text stands out a little bit better on it. So it's good to have that on. I'm just going to skip some of them because I know we're short on time. Smart Invert and Classic Invert. I'll show you these two. First of all, we'll go with Classic Invert. So like what we had in our magnifier, it changes all the colors around. So you've got black background, white text. And if you notice over here, all our buttons have also changed. So what used to be blue has now become orange and so forth. However, they have now implemented Smart Invert. So if we turn that on, quite similar. But if you notice, our icons here on the left-hand side, they remain in the colors that they were intended. And this is particularly useful for when you're browsing web pages and that, and you have photographs that you don't want looking like they're a negative. So that's a handy one to have if you prefer to use the inverted colors. So Smart Invert for leaving the photographs alone. If you go with the Classic, everything changes. Reduce the white point. It's another good option just further down here. So I'll turn that on and it reduces the strength of the white on the screen. Anybody that suffers from too much glare, this is a very good option to have switched on. So that's the display and text size. I'll go back up here and we'll return to our accessibility menu. The next one I'm going to have a look at for you is the spoken content. So tap on that and we'll go in here. So two options. The first one, speak selection. So we turn that on. And with speak selection, when you highlight text, most people will be familiar with this. When you highlight text on the iPad, you get an option to copy the text that you have and do a few more different things, share it and all that. It pops in another option in there called speak. So when you highlight text, it'll speak it out for you. And I'm just going to demonstrate that here. I'm just going to go straight over to the internet and we'll go for RTE and we'll pick a news article. Okay. I'll just select this little article here, close that off. I'm just going to go down and we highlight that text there. So we get this third option here, speak. We tap on that.
The final cost to the Irish state of dealing with the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic could be as high as €30 billion, according to an analysis by KBC Bank Ireland.
Okay, so it will only read what I have highlighted there in blue. That is the purpose of that speak selection. Speak screen is another option. You can use two fingers at the top of the screen and swipe down, and that will read the entire content of the screen. So we might just have a quick look at that again. I'll go back to the top, and now you won't see this, but I have two fingers at the top of the screen, and then swiping down. Oops. I'll try that again. There we go.
Austerity is not an antidote to a problem that has nothing to do with imbalances in the Irish or other economies, he stated. Mr. Hughes said while the near-term focus will be on reigniting the Irish economy, the actions required to do this should have lasting positive effects. A marked increase in spare capacity in the Irish economy could allow scope to make a significant start to address long-standing problems.
So I'm just going to close that off. If you notice, it did pop out a little menu that you can activate just to stop that at any time. So that's the speak screen option. Next up is the speech controller. And I'm going to show you that. So we can enable that. It's a little floating device. You may have noticed it popped up a minute ago when I was doing the speak screen. And what this guy does is it gives you this menu. You can tap him, use the finger, select the finger, and then tap a sentence.
The speech controller allows quick access to speak screen and speak and touch. Expand the controller and press play to start reading all content. Expand the controller and tap the finger icon to start speak and touch. Then tap or drag anywhere on the screen to hear the content under your finger. Lift your finger to exit speak and touch.
Okay, so that's the speech controller, and it's quite similar to a feature that is in Android called Select to Speak. So you're tapping that, tapping the finger icon there, and then you're tapping the block of text that you want read out. So that's the speech controller, and I've turned him back off. Next thing we can do is highlight content. So this is useful, particularly for younger viewers who are maybe just getting used to reading and all that. You can highlight the content as it's being read out. You can highlight the words it's reading as it says them, or the sentences, or both. And you can choose the highlighting style. That's particularly useful maybe for younger folks who are starting out and are still learning their words, that it will highlight them as it's being read out. The next thing we have here is typing feedback. And I have two options by default are switched off. You can switch on characters and words. And I'll show you what that is about now. Okay, so we have characters and speak words. Now, I hope to be able to demonstrate that here. Sometimes if I'm recording, it won't call out the words.
Capital H-O-W, how? A-R-E-R. Y-O-U-U. T-O-D-A-Y. Today.
Okay, so that's the spoken content in the character feedback. As you type, you can have a call out those characters and call out the words. Some people might just want the words only, so in that case you can switch off the characters and it'll say nothing until you have the whole word typed, and then it'll call that back to you. And if it gets all too annoying for you, you can switch that off too. That's the typing feedback that's in the spoken content. And likewise, like our voiceover earlier, you can pick the different voices. Plenty of them there, just like in voiceover, that you can pick from. And again, you can speed up or slow down the speaking rate. So all those options are there for you. So that's the spoken content. And audio descriptions, depending on the app that you're using, you can have it to automatically play audio descriptions. So it's a matter of flicking that switch on there and they will come on where they are available. Now there's one more thing I want to show you. It's from the physical and motor section. It's the touch. And we are going to look at the assistive touch. And in here, it gives you the option of adding a mouse to your iPad. This is only available from iOS 13 upwards. So likes of your iPhone 7 or higher, or maybe iPhone 6S. I'm not too sure it's iPhone 6S or iPhone 7 that carries the iOS 13. And in here then, it gives you the option to go for Bluetooth devices, and you get your Bluetooth mouse. Now, obviously, this one is connected, but you can connect then your Bluetooth mouse, and that gives you the cursor. Sometimes you can run into issues where you turn on the mouse, and even though it's been paired before, it's not responding. In that case, you have to manually come in here, tap on that eye, forget the device, and join up again, pair it up again, and it will come back working. Just like sometimes with a Wi-Fi network, you got to go in there, you got to tell the system to forget that Wi-Fi network and join it again. When we come back out of that pointer devices, so just to show you, it's assistive touch, turn it on. We go down to pointer devices, into the devices there, and set up your mouse. The pointer style then, which is this circle that you get on the screen, you can increase or decrease the size of the circle. So there I have made it much bigger. All right, pull that slider back, and it's quite small, not as intrusive. I just leave it in the middle. You can change the color of it. So if you want it blue, red, green, orange, white, or gray. I prefer the yellow. I'm going to leave it there. And then the auto hide, which is handy. You can, by default, it's set to on. It hides the mouse after 15 seconds, which is handy if you're doing some typing and you don't want that to be sitting on your screen in your way, having to move it about. So if you, after 15 seconds, just like that, it disappears. And then when you move the mouse again, it comes back. So that is the mouse end of it that's available under the assistive touch options in accessibility. So that's everything I've got to show you on today's webinar. Got to do with iPad accessibility. All the options I've shown you will work on iPhone as well. So so it's of use to iPhone users to know this stuff too. And that's the little home button option that you get with your mouse. And that floats around the screen, and you can move it and park it wherever you like, that it's not in your way. So thank you very much for joining me on this. And if you have any questions on any of the stuff I've shown you, do feel free to get in touch with your local IT trainer from the NCBI, who'll be glad to assist you and help you out with any of those features. Thank you.
And a lovely sound effect right at the end there. Thank you, Daniel, for putting together that presentation for us today. I just thought I'd just come in a little bit and say we wanted to put together an overview of iOS today, just to give people a sense of all of the features that are available for accessibility, not just those that are specific to one type of visual impairment. So what we intend to do is, as these live events grow, we're also going to be giving people an opportunity to give us feedback on specific areas that they want to see. So we could have done an entire session today on voiceover or on magnification or on Zoom, for example, but I thought it would be good just for us to kick off and give everyone an overview. What I might do is, just before I open to questions and answers, I might give people a sense of how I use accessibility on my own iOS device. I have about 20% vision. I suffer from congenital nystagmus. So one of the most important features for me on that is around dynamic text, enabling me to set the text size very, very large. And then secondly, from that one, Magnifier has become also for me almost my day-to-day tool. I no longer use a visual aid telescope. I use that for zooming in on bus numbers, well, when I'm not locked in my house, and also for reading text and reading packages and stuff like that. It's an extremely powerful feature. So that's just an example of someone with low vision might use the accessibility. I think what would be warranted as well, Daniel, what do you think if we do a deeper dive into voiceover features in an upcoming session?
Absolutely, yeah. We can look at any of those sections that are in the accessibility options and really dive in there, get under the bonnet, have a look at what's happening and what features that are available that people just might not be aware of. They might not have explored that far for themselves. You know, maybe somebody who's new to these devices would definitely benefit from maybe a particular section being gone into in depth.
I'm going to hand this over now to Jude Maher. He is been correlating some of the questions that have been coming in from people. And Jude, so welcome, and maybe you might run through some initial questions on iOS for Daniel.
Yeah, thanks very much. So we've already had a few questions coming in. People are interested in the iOS devices, clearly. So if your question isn't answered in this, keep your questions coming in and we can answer them at the end of the show as well, at the end of the webinar. So first of all, Daniel, one of the things that a lot of people want to know, there's a few different types of iPads out there, isn't there? Which one should people go for if they were to buy one iPad for themselves? What one would you recommend?
It'll be based on what they are going to use the iPad for. I suppose most people out there are going to be just happy to browse the net, check a few emails and things like that. So the basic entry 10.2-inch iPad, I think it retails somewhere around $399. That will be sufficient for a vast majority of users. The more money you can spend on them, obviously the storage space goes up. There's a bit more power and things like that in them. You know, so more advanced and experienced users of these products would probably look at those if they felt it met their requirements.
Very good. Yeah. So buy what you need, basically. Don't overbuy a device. Excellent. Another thing that a few people want to know, so with each of those different iPads then, you went through VoiceOver on your video there, on your presentation. So do you have VoiceOver as an automatic feature on iPad? Do you have to pay for that? Do you have to buy that to add it to your iPad?
No, you certainly do not. If it's one thing Apple do well is their accessibility features. They are fantastic in their provision of all these accessibility features. The VoiceOver, such as one, comes already as part of the iPad. It's there. It's just a matter of switching it on. You can summon Siri to switch that on, ask Siri to switch it on. With with these iPads with the physical home button, you can click that 3 times and it'll switch that on as well. So there's numerous ways of activating it as well. Apple really have done good work on integrating accessibility into their software.
Brilliant. And just one more question for the moment. A Bluetooth device, a Bluetooth keyboard can be quite useful when you're using an iPad, so that you don't have to deal with the on-screen keyboard if that's a particular issue. Is it easy to connect up a Bluetooth keyboard?
Yes, it is. In the settings menu, just under Wi-Fi, you'll find the Bluetooth options, and you can go in there and connect it directly. And when you go to type, or when you tap a button on the keyboard, it'll automatically type in for you. It does have the benefit as well of taking the on-screen keyboard off the iPad, so that's not in your way, particularly if you're trying to get to view more of the screen. It can be an absolutely fantastic addition to have with your iPad. Just also, if anybody is thinking of getting a Bluetooth keyboard for their iPad, depending on your model of iPad, you may be able to get a nice one that's integrated into the cover. So not only does it double up as a keyboard, it also comes as a protective feature for the iPad. So when you're carrying it about with you from place to place, God forbid it gets a fall, you know, that protective cover there is going to help your iPad not get smashed.
Brilliant. Yeah, that sounds really useful. So thanks for your answers there, Daniel. Appreciate the extra information. Very informative and very helpful. If you do have any other questions, anyone, if you want to keep the questions coming in, we'll have a chance to revisit that at the end of the webinar. For now, we're going to hand back to Karen.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for that again, guys. We're going to move on to our the next part of our presentation today, which is smart devices. So we're going to do a series of smart devices over the coming weeks. Kicking off today is with Amazon Alexa, and JP has put together a great presentation for us on this. So I'll hand over to JP now.
Hello everyone, you're very welcome to this NCBI Labs video on smart speakers. So for the next while, I'm going to be going to the Amazon Echo Dot. I'm going to be looking at what exactly it is. I'm looking at how you can set it up in your home, and then things that you can try on the device. So first of all, what is the Amazon Echo Dot? It's more commonly known as an Echo. It's a brand of smart speakers that's been developed by Amazon. It's activated by the wake word Alexa. And as I say the name, a blue light will turn on the device.
That's another, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right.
And she responds to what you say. So that's how you activate the device. It's the wake word Alexa. Okay. If you don't see anything, she just will go quiet again. Okay. So things that you can do with Alexa, you can do things like ask for the weather, the news, you can set timers, listen to audiobooks, you can control smart devices in your homes. There's so much you can do with these devices, they're brilliant. One thing I really, really like about the Amazon Echo is that it's very much accessible out of the box. So when someone buys one of these, if they have a vision impairment, a very, very little sight or no sight at all, you can connect these to your power source at home. You can activate, you can open up the Alexa app on your mobile phone or tablet device. You can connect this to the Wi-Fi network with it in about 5-10 minutes. Very, very accessible. And of course, so apart from being accessible, it's easy to set up. It's very, very affordable too. You can pick one of these up for about 40-50 euro. So it's probably no surprise with that in mind that about 1 in 4 homes in Ireland now have one of these devices, either an Amazon Echo or a Google Home. So the Amazon Echo Dot, in terms of the hardware, we have an increase and decrease volume button. We can mute. If I press mute, there's a red light that comes on the device, which means that no audio is being picked up by Alexa. I can unmute by pressing this again. There's one more button, which is a little dot, and this is used to set the device up. So if you were to hold this in for about 2 seconds, the light will go orange, and then you can set it up. You can connect the device to your Wi-Fi network. I won't do it now because it's already connected to my Wi-Fi network at home. So there are some of the the physical features of it. It's about the size of a hockey puck, quite a large hockey puck. This is the Amazon Echo Dot 3rd generation. Okay. The lights that you'll see that come on the Alexa, obviously for mute, there's a red light that comes on. That light is orange when it's being set up. And then when you say her name, I'm not going to say it now, but when you do say her name, there's a blue light that comes on, which means that the command that you have asked her is processed. Okay. So it comes with a charging port. This device has to say charging, has to stay plugged in rather, when it's being used. There's no internal battery on this, so you do need to keep it plugged in all the time when you're using it. Okay, there's also an auxiliary port for external speakers if you wanted to connect those. So different types of Echo devices and where to buy them. Main 3 types. You have the Amazon Echo Dot, which we have here. There's the Amazon Echo, which is a larger device here. Has all the features of the one that we're looking at today, just larger, better sound quality. And then there's the Amazon Echo Show, which some of you may be familiar with. It has a screen on it, so you can actually play videos on that if you wanted. It has the time on it. So Amazon Echo Show, a little bit more expensive than this. Amazon Echo Show at the moment, it's on sale on Amazon. It's about £50 sterling. And the Amazon Echo itself, the larger version of this, is about £80. Very, very good sale at the moment on amazon.co.uk. If anyone wanted to go online and buy one. These at the moment are half price. They're usually about £45, £50, down to £25 at the moment. Amazon do run these sales quite regularly. So if you don't get it this time, don't worry. You can always go back online and check it out another day. If you don't want to go online to amazon.co.uk and buy one of these, you can go to your local electrical store, Harvey Norman, PC World, DIG Electrical. They'll all have one of these for about €45, €45 that is. Stores such as Argos as well, you're likely to pick one up there. This comes in different colors. This is a sandstone. They come in grey and charcoal black as well. Okay, so setting it up. So how do you set this thing up? Okay, so first thing you do, after taking it out of the box, you plug it in, okay? When you plug it in, orange light will come on. That means it's entered setup mode. When it's entered setup mode, what you need to do is download and install the Alexa app. Now that's available on the App Store if you're running on an iPhone or an iPad, or it's available on the Google Play Store if you have an Android device. Okay, so I have set this device up here on my iPad. Okay, so what I did is I went into the App Store and I downloaded the Alexa app. And when I did that, I can go into the settings and I very, very simply add the device. Okay, in this case, it's an Amazon Echo Dot. So I choose the Echo Dot. It's a 3rd generation. And then I can add it to the Wi-Fi network in my home. And what I really, really like about the Echo is that you do this once, you never need to do it again. I've brought this away with me on holidays several times. So it's been plugged out for long periods. I plug it back in as soon as you get home. It just reconnects to the Wi-Fi network straight away. So setup takes about 5-10 minutes, and you won't need to do it again, which I really like. So that's the setup. Things to try. So I have a list here of about 10 things to try that I really like with the Amazon Echo. First of all, it's setting timers, alarms, and reminders. So very, very obvious thing. Setting a timer. You might put something in the oven for maybe 10 minutes, pizza or something like that. You can set a timer. You can say, Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Okay, and she will tell you when that time is up. So you can take your pizza out of the oven. Alarm, obviously you can have one of these in your bedroom and you might want to use it to wake up. So Alexa, set alarm for 7 a.m.
Alarm set for 7 a.m.
Okay, so
would you like this alarm set for every weekday?
No. Okay, so she's going to wake me up at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then there's reminders, really, really useful. So you can ask Alexa to set a reminder. So for example, tomorrow I know is bin day here, so I can say, Alexa, set reminder.
What's the reminder for?
Take green bin out tomorrow morning.
When should I remind you?
In the morning.
At what time?
8 a.m.
Okay, I'll remind you at 8 a.m.
Great. Okay, so you got a reminder at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to take the green donate, which I always forget. So shopping as well is another really, really useful of this feature of this. So for example, you can add products to your shopping list. I find this really, really useful. So during the week, I can be walking around the house thinking, okay, I might need something here. I might need, we might need some more milk, some more orange juice, whatever it is. You can add that to your shopping list on the Echo, and then you can pull that shopping list up on your phone when you're out shopping. I really think it's a really, really nice feature. So for example, if I say, Alexa, add to my shopping list.
What should I add?
Orange juice.
What can I add for you?
Orange juice.
I've added orange juice to your shopping list. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so it works second time around. Now I can say, Alexa, what's on my shopping list? Alexa, what's on my shopping list?
You have 4 items on your shopping list. Orange juice, milk, oranges in bin bags.
Okay, so you can recall it by asking it, or otherwise you can go into the Alexa app on your phone when you're out shopping, and straight away you can pull up the shopping list. You can see what you have in there. So that's the shopping list. You can also do a to-do list. Radio. Now this is a really, really nice feature of the Amazon Echo. The Amazon Echo uses TuneIn radio service, streaming service for accessing radio. So you can listen to quite literally thousands and thousands of stations from around the world, both national and international stations. So if I were to say, for example, Alexa, play Today FM.
Today FM from TuneIn.
Your credit union just got even better. You can now use your credit union for all your day-to-day banking needs.
Alexa, stop.
How much would it look?
Okay. So you can ask it to play international radio stations, as well as all the national ones here, RTE1, RTE2, Today FM, everything, any radio station you can think of, you can access on your Echo Dot. News and weather, very, very useful. So you can ask it to give you the news and the weather forecast. It does this by your location. So when you set up the Alexa app on the Echo, what you do is you go into settings, you key in your address. So that means when you ask for the weather, it gives it specific to your location. And likewise for the news, it should give you, for example, RTE News as opposed to BBC News if you're setting one of these up over in the UK. So let's try this now. Alexa, tell me the news.
Here's your news. From RTE News.
The Department of Health has said there have been 14 more deaths linked to the COVID-19 coronavirus, bringing to 85 the number of people who have died to date. The latest figures also indicate there are now 3,447 confirmed cases of the virus in Ireland, following the reporting of 212 new cases.
Alexa, turn off. It's pretty shocking news. So news, weather forecast. Alexa, what's the weather for tomorrow?
Here's the forecast for tomorrow in Killiney. Expect intermittent clouds with a high of 10 degrees Celsius and a low of 2 degrees.
Okay, I'll take that. And then, of course, another really nice feature of the Amazon Alexa is music. So there's a few different options here. You can subscribe to Amazon Music, which is $3.99 a month. It's a free trial for 30 days. Then it's $3.99 a month after that. And that gives you access to over 50 million songs. So any song that you can think of, it's on Amazon Music. The alternative is that you can use Amazon Prime Music. So if you have an Amazon Prime account like myself, you pay about €10 a month. Obviously with that, you get your fast Amazon deliveries, discounted products, benefits like that. But you also have access to about 2 million songs through Amazon Music. So for example, I could try this here. I could say, Alexa, play on Raglan Road. There you go. Alexa, play on Raglan Road.
Here's On Raglan Road by Carvel MC Connell on Amazon Music.
can adjust the volume as well, either on the device or by asking Alexa to increase. Alexa, increase volume. Alexa, volume up. So sound quality is pretty good. Alexa, off. Okay, so that's Amazon Music. Audiobooks, another feature that I really like. If you have an Audible account, you can access audiobooks through the Amazon Echo. So with Audible, it's a free 30-day trial, just like with Amazon Music. After that, it's $7.99 a month for 1 credit, which gives you access to 1 book. Then it just is the plans get a bit more expensive if you want 2 credits, 3 credits, etc. So I have an Audible account, so I was reading a book earlier. I'm going to see if I can continue reading it now since I stopped. Alexa, resume my audiobook.
Getting your book from Audible. Resuming of Mice and Men.
It makes a great stirring if he runs among them. Rabbits come out of the brush to sit on the sand in the evening, and the damp flats are covered with
Alexa, stop. Okay, so it'll play my audiobook. You can adjust as well. You can go back and forth between chapters. It's nice the way it stops wherever you want, and it'll pick it up then later. You can sync with your phone as well if you listen to the audiobook on your phone or tablet. So that's audiobooks. Audible is probably the most popular option for listening to audiobooks on the device. You can make calls on the Amazon Echo. You can use a feature called drop in. So you can drop into any other Amazon Echo that perhaps a family or friend could have. If you have another Echo Dot, another Echo device in your house, for example, up in your bedroom or in the kitchen or in the living room, you can drop into that device. So a very, very nice feature. So smart devices, I briefly mentioned earlier. So you can control smart devices with the Amazon Echo. This could include smart lights like Philips Hue bulbs. You can control plugs as well. Even things like Nest learning thermostats to adjust your volume in your home, and the Ring doorbell if you want to know who's at your doorbell if you're not home. Very, very useful for security as well, and peace of mind if you're out of home and you want to know who's at the door. Games, you can play games on the Amazon Echo. We might try one here. Alexa, play Jeopardy.
This is Jeopardy! And now, here is your host, Alex Trebek.
Thanks, Johnny. And welcome, players. Did you know that every Jeopardy category has an extra 6th clue? And those clues have remained under wraps until now.
Alexa,
6 is
stop.
Thanks for playing. I hope you keep watching and enjoying Jeopardy.
Thank you. Okay, so that's just one game. There's thousands and thousands of games to try. Skills as well. So skills are much like apps on your mobile device or on your tablet. There's different categories. One category that I was just experimenting with was to do with kind of health and fitness, because obviously we're all trapped in at the moment with COVID-19 and can't go out. So some of you might like to try some of the fitness apps. One example is a workout that Alexa can give you. It's a 7-minute workout. So let's try it there. I can say, Alexa, enable 7-minute workout skill.
Okay, here's 7-minute workout. Welcome back. Let's get right to it. Remember, you can change your settings, ask for help, or join the 7 squad at any time. Are you ready to start your daily workout?
No.
All right.
Alexa, stop timer. So there's our 10-minute timer that's just been activated.
Sorry,
Alexa,
I'm having some
off. Alexa, off. Alexa, timer off. Okay, now she's quiet again. So quite literally thousands and thousands of skills that you can enable on your Alexa device. Another really nice feature of the Alexa is that it's Bluetooth enabled. So you can, if you want, you can pair your phone, your iPad to the device. So I'll just give you an example of where this could be useful. I have an iPad here, and what I'm going to do is pair it to the Amazon Echo. So anything that I hear typically that would have heard on the iPad, I can now hear hopefully on the Amazon Echo Dot. So Alexa, pair.
Searching. Now connected to Siobhan.
Okay, so that's the name of this iPad here. I'm going to now see if I can play an audiobook. So I've connected to the NCBI Overdrive service here to listen to audiobooks. So let's just see if this works.
Is It Me? Written and read by Terry Wogan. Michael Thomas Wogan, the Dana, was born in Enniskerry, County Wicklow in 1900. Enniskerry was widely regarded as Ireland's prettiest village, and Wicklow the Garden of Ireland. Unfortunately, you can't eat the scenery.
Okay, so that will play your audiobook if you want from services like NCBI Overdrive or NCBI Bookshare. Their sound quality is pretty good. You can also play music on YouTube. So say, for example, you didn't want to subscribe to the Amazon Music service and pay $2.99 a month. You can go onto YouTube, you can play a song. So you get the idea, and then you can adjust the volume even though it's pairing from the device. You can still say, Alexa, volume up. Okay, and then you can just stop it by pressing the home button on your device, and it'll stop the track. If you wanted to on-pair from your, in this case, the iPad, you can say, Alexa, on-pair. Alexa, on-pair. There we go.
Now disconnected from Siobhan.
The second time. So the fact that it's Bluetooth enabled is a really nice offering as well. So you can listen to the likes of your audiobooks, YouTube songs, that kind of things, those kind of things. If you have a Spotify account as well, which I do, you can as well. You can pair your phone, your tablet to the Echo, and you can listen to music there that way as well. Finally, there's one thing I'd recommend is subscribing to the Amazon Echo mailing list. So every few days, Amazon Echo, the Amazon rather, will send you an email with a list of things to try out on your smart speaker. So I got one early this morning, and I'm just going to pull it up here. So you can say things like things to try with Alexa. One of the first things here it says is, Alexa, tell me my horoscope.
Hello, Sally Morgan here. Here is your Gemini horoscope for today. A school friend from the past drops by today, Gemini, and drops into the conversation about a school reunion that has been arranged for this evening, but you feel disappointed because you haven't received an official invitation like everyone else has. Making out you are busy might be the best way to come back soon.
I'm not so sure about. Okay, so guys, that's an overview of the Amazon Echo Dot smart speaker. What I would say, if anyone does have any queries regarding setting up one of these devices, features on it, or connecting it to smart devices in your home, you can call the NCBI Labs support desk. The number is 1850 92 30 60. Any questions, you can just give us a call there. And thanks very much for watching.
So there you have it. Thanks very much, JP, for that overview of Alexa, and some quite funny moments in there as well. I thought you were actually going to get up and do some squats. That would have been really interesting.
Interesting viewing, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jude, I think we've been getting quite a few questions coming in. Why don't you run through some of the questions specifically for JP on the Alexa side of things?
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, there's been quite a few questions come in. Actually, one of the things that people are maybe a little bit concerned about with Alexa or any of these smart devices sometimes is when they're recording us, they seem to be kind of conversing with us. Are they recording all of our conversations whenever we're talking to them?
Yeah. Do you know what, that's actually one of the first questions I sometimes get when I'm demonstrating the Echo or any smart speaker to someone. It's a really good question. It's a bit obviously kind of privacy and security. So the official answer on this from Amazon is that their stance is no, because I suppose by default the Echo device will only listen to what you're saying when the wake word is called out. So it could be, the wake word could be Alexa. You can also change it to something like computer or Echo. So unless you say the wake word, which I've mentioned there, then the device shouldn't it shouldn't store your audio. So your audio isn't stored or sent to the cloud unless the device detects that wake word. The only exception to this is if you do go into the settings in the application, the Alexa app, you can enable something called Alexa Guard. So it's a really cool feature. This allows you to detect specific sounds. So for example, it could be the sound of smoke alarms or carbon monoxide alarms or even of glass breaking. So this can be enabled in the Alexa app settings. It's a really nice kind of security feature. But otherwise, according to Amazon, the answer is no, unless you use that wake word. It shouldn't be recording any audio.
Well, that's good to know. I'd say that'll be reassuring for a lot of people who are considering buying these smart devices. You mentioned there about the word that wakes up Alexa. So when you say Alexa, it wakes up, and usually there's like a blue light that comes on there. But one of the questions here in relation to just if there's a problem seeing that blue light, can you make the Echo play a sound when we say Alexa instead of just displaying a light to show that it's listening?
Yeah, and that's a really, really nice feature of the Echo. So as we know, the Echo lights up with a blue light whenever it's activated. But if you can't see it, if you have a vision impairment, you can't see that blue light, you can enable it. You could actually enable an audio tone instead. So what you do is you go into the Alexa app and hit the settings, sounds and notifications. And under the section that says request sounds, you can select a toggle at switch to switch on start of request. So it more or less it'll emit a short audio tone after you say Alexa or your chosen wake word. Really, really nice feature.
Excellent. Yeah. Again, that's really helpful to see the accessibility side of that. And speaking of accessibility, somebody just asks how the app itself is. The app that you'll use on your smart device, how is that for accessibility?
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of work done on that. Anyone I know who has set it up using Voiceover, the built-in screen reader on iOS, on your iPad or iPhone, never experienced any problems. I know there's some work that's been done as well by applevis.com, which is like a group of I suppose testers of accessibility features on apps like Amazon. They've done some testing and they've found actually the results have been very positive. That it seems to be very accessible, quite straightforward to set up using VoiceOver on your iPhone or on your iPad. So which is quite positive to hear. Yeah.
Brilliant, very good. So all in all, it's easy enough to use. We're getting quite a few different questions in from for both the Echo and iOS devices. Maybe I can just kind of open it up to the whole panel to answer some of these. We might just stick with the Echo for the moment, just while we're on a roll with it. But if there's any comments on some of these things. So again, we get a question here about how easy the setup is out of the box for somebody who has no vision at all. Is that easy enough to do, or would you need to have somebody else to assist you?
It can be done out of the box. So the process is more or less you plug your Echo into power. It has to be powered up, as I said in the video. There's no internal battery on these devices, so it needs to be plugged in whenever you're using it. So when you plug it in for the first time, it will automatically enter a setup mode. So it'll tell you it's entering setup mode. So if, for example, if someone is using VoiceOver on an iPhone or on a tablet, like an iPad, sorry, they can go into the app, which is accessible, and they can set it up there. And what they're doing is they're connecting that device to their home Wi-Fi network. So they're going to key in their Wi-Fi password. and then it'll connect straight away. So it can, like, in theory, it should be able to. Someone should be able to do it. It's out of the box without any sighted assistance.
Yeah. Okay. So that's again, that's really good to know, because if you need to get assistance from somebody else, you kind of want to know that ahead of time so that you can make arrangements for that.
Yeah.
Can you get the Echo to only answer to one voice in the household?
Yeah, so there's a really nice feature. You can set up voice recognition using the Echo if you want. So to do this, when you go into your settings, and if you want to set up just for your voice, you'll be asked to read aloud about 10 phrases, I think it is. So it uses this. So Alexa will use this information to create like a voice profile. So once that's done, you can use it across other Echo devices, and then when it's set up, it'll distinguish your voice from other people's in the house. For example, if it's a roommate or a family member. And I suppose the whole idea is that it'll be able to deliver a more kind of a personalized experience, so tailored toward your voice, as opposed to using listening to multiple voices. Yeah, so so it can be done. It's a good question, and it can be done.
Yeah, very good. So when you set up those different kind of profiles, so that it recognizes an individual, will that stop it responding to somebody else, or will it just respond in a different way?
It should respond, but it offers a personalized experience just for that person. It's something that I'd recommend doing for everyone. Anyone who purchases an Echo, I definitely recommend setting that up. So going into the set up voice recognition settings and setting up that way, because it just means that Alexa will pick up your voice much more clearly, so that you're not having to repeat yourself with certain commands or questions that you're asking it. So definitely worth doing. Yeah,
brilliant. That is a useful feature as well. We have a couple of questions here for iOS. If we have Daniel on the line, I'm not sure if we have Daniel there at the moment. Yep, very good. So just a question that comes in about when somebody's using VoiceOver here on an iOS device, I think it's an iPad, their screen goes blank. Their screen seems to stop working after they've used the VoiceOver. Is there anything that might be going wrong there particularly, or anything you could think of?
Yeah, often what can happen there is the screen curtain, and it's specifically designed to black the screen on somebody who's using VoiceOver. So if they're out in a public space, for privacy of their information, if they're texting someone or whatever, then they don't, and they're using headphones obviously to so everybody on the bus is not listening to the audio, just to stop somebody kind of looking in over the shoulder, reading what's on their screen, you can tap with 3 fingers 4 times on the screen, and that puts a thing called a screen curtain over. Blacks out the screen so nobody can look in, and to simply switch that back off again, it's a repeat of the process. Tap with 3 fingers on the screen, and that will VoiceOver will then say curtain off. So you can give the phone to somebody if you wanted to show somebody a photograph or something like that.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, very good. And in relation to one of the features that you mentioned in your video, Daniel, I think you were going through the audio description feature that was in the accessibility settings there. When you turn that on, it will read out the audio or give the audio description when it's available. How do you know when that is available?
Well, it's only going to be on some video files that will contain a separate audio track, that narrates or describes the content that's playing in the video. People will probably be familiar from that thing that's in Netflix or any of those services, streaming services, where you can turn on audio description in the movie. I guess it's for, if somebody's downloaded a video maybe from the web and there is audio description included, and if you have that feature switched on the iPhone, when you go to play back the video in your video player, then that'll invoke that audio description to come along.
Ah, brilliant, very good. And just one final one for the iOS devices, and I think you mentioned this actually in the video, but just to highlight it again, what's the difference between the zoom and the magnifier? I think you demonstrated both, but if you were to just describe what the main difference is between them.
Yep. Okay, so the zoom is going to bring up the display, your screen, bring up the content of your screen. to make it easier to read or to navigate. Whereas the magnifier is using your device's camera to look at physical things in your local environment, so such as a sheet of paper with text that's behind the camera. Maybe if you're bringing it out to, out shopping with you, that you want to get in and you want to see what that price tag is on the box of cereal that's always on the bottom shelf. Particularly the good price stuff is always down low. So you want to know what those prices are. So you can go down there, zoom it. And as I said in the demonstration there, that the button, you can pause the magnification. So when you bring it back up, you can be able to read the price a lot easier on that.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's good to have that distinction, actually, that you can use kind of a form of magnification in two different ways, the magnifier and the zoom as well. So thanks very much for clarifying those, Daniel. We do just have a couple of last questions on the Echo.
Sure.
Just in relation to the Echo, you mentioned using various different accounts along with the Echo, such as I think Amazon and possibly Audible or different accounts that could be there. Can you actually set those up using the Echo, or do you need to have that set up separately before you start using the Echo device?
You can ask Alexa to do that. So, for example, for me, I activated my unlimited music account and my Audible account through my voice. So you can do that, but I would always recommend going into the app. It just offers a more, I suppose, kind of a better experience, I suppose, when you go into the Alexa app and set it up that way. So, for example, I mentioned the music service, a streaming service that's available from Amazon on the video. That's free for 30 days, and it's $3.99 thereafter. So, for example, if you do ask Alexa, after you set it up, to play, for example, a piece of music, it'll play a sample, and then what it'll do is it'll say this song is available from Amazon Music Unlimited, and it'll say, do you wish to start a 30-day free trial? And you can activate that by saying yes, and it'll do it straight away. So you can do it either way. Yeah. So
excellent. Very good. So so that's very easy. And then just a final one, just on the Echo here. Can I connect the Amazon Echo to change channels on my TV?
Yeah, you can do. The short answer is yes. You can control your TV using the Echo, and brands like kind of popular brands like LG and Samsung. It gives you the option to link your Echo to the TV. This is only really available on newer televisions, just to let you know. So you can turn off and on the TV, adjust the volume and so forth. What I'd recommend, if someone really wants to kind of get the full kind of fully integrated experience of using the Echo with their television, I'd recommend purchasing an Amazon Fire Stick. This is about €60 from amazon.co.uk. So this lets you stream programs and movies on your TV. So you can link it with your Echo, and then you can search for programs and movies. You can change channels, look up content by type, or things like, play sci-fi or kids programs. So that's like, for the best experience, I'll be kind of steering people toward an Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah, very good. That's good advice, actually, because it's kind of handy to know whether it works, but it's good to know what works best as well. So that's good advice. We do have just one last question that's just come in there, JP, if you don't mind. We've a question here. Do you have to have an iPhone? Does it have to be an iPhone that you have along with the Echo?
No, actually, sorry guys. I did that demonstration on iPad, but you can equally set this up on any smartphone or tablet device. So it could be an Android phone, and you'll in a case of an Android phone, you go into the Play Store and download the Alexa app, download and install it, and then you can add your Echo to your Wi-Fi network to the app on your Android device. Yeah, so either iPhone or Android phone, so a smartphone will do it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for your answers for those questions. Certainly the presentations have been really informative, and the answers have been very helpful as well. So thanks very much, JP and Daniel.
Just as a final note on the last question, you can set it up through a web browser as well. So you could go into Google Chrome if you wanted. So if someone didn't have a smartphone, you could set it up on through your browser as well. Sorry.
Very good. Very good. So an extra way that we can do it. So thanks very much, JP and Daniel, and we'll pass back to Kyron to wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that, and thanks for everyone behind the scenes as well who have been supporting the session. One note, actually, just that came in there, just that I noticed in the Q&A section was someone was commenting about how useful the flash briefing is, which I actually use myself every day. I suppose some of my favorite features of some of low vision is absolutely the audible and the overdrive features are huge, and we might do a more detailed session on overdrive in the coming weeks. Just to let everyone know that joined us today, this will be available offline, and we'll be publishing the videos through social media. So if you'd like to rewatch any parts of the demo, that'll be an extremely useful feature. Also, beyond that, we intend to run at least one of these sessions a week. So this one is very much an overview session. Next week, we're hoping to do an overview of Android, which Jude is putting together for us. And we're also looking then to do a session on Google Smart Home, which is a competitor to Alexa. We're very agnostic here in NCBI Labs when it comes to technology. Also, I'd like to say a huge thanks again to the entire NCBI Labs team for helping us and supporting us with the first session that we have done, or our first live session. Just to reiterate, if you need any support setting up any of the devices that we have demonstrated today, or if you need any support from technology whatsoever, you can call the national helpline on 1850 33 43 53, and you can select option 3 for NCBI Labs. Also, as well, if you want to send an email with feedback on today, or you'd like to ask a specific question on support, don't forget you can actually send an email to labs@ncbi.ie, and we intend to get back to everyone as quickly as possible. And if you'd like to support NCBI in continuing to support people with sight loss, you can go to donate.ncbi.ie. Right, from myself, Kyron, and all the team here in NCBI Labs, thank you very much for today, and we hope to see you again on the next one.